Maybe it does mean. Maybe it might.
Right.
Maybe it might.
This fight is so close. They're so closely knitted that you got to look for all the small pieces because the small things are what going to add up to somebody winning the fight.
And fight a guy who might put him in a dog fight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody.
But skill for skill, as far as equality, to me, Bud and Canelo are equal because when they're in their career.
The thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, you know? The easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right.
Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys.
Roy Jones Jr. and Max Kellerman break down Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez through the lens of mindset, courage, and ambition, arguing that true champions don't pick and choose, they face anyone, anytime, regardless of size, reputation, or risk. Max frames the stakes clearly, explaining that Shakur has more to lose in this matchup, while Teofimo has far more to gain if he delivers a decisive win. On boxing's biggest competitive stage,
Undefeated fighter. He's seen as the eventual pound-for-pound champ, potentially. But Teo has more to win. He has more to gain. So on the one hand, is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He lost to Kambosos, and he came back from that. But oh my God, if he can pull it off. Like, if it's a close fight and Teo could keep it close and we're going into the 10th, 11th, 12th rounds, is there an advantage there, given that situation?
He came back from that Kambosos fight, but in some way, the jury is still out on Teo a little bit because I'm going to tell you what, on that card that was done in Times Square, he looked the best out of, with all due respect, out of a lot of people that did.
Roy Jones Jr., however, offers a different comparison, likening the matchup to Canelo versus Bud, where power balances power. In contrast, Shakur versus Teofimo shapes up as a pure skill-for-skill battle, one that will be decided less by force and more by technique, timing, and execution.
Good damn fight too. See, that fight is skill for skill as good as this fight. But they just haven't been around long enough to prove themselves yet. But skill for skill, as far as equality, to me, Bud and Canelo are equal because where they're in their career, because how accomplished they are. These two guys are also equal where they're in their career, because they're accomplished, but not as accomplished as these two. But they're still equal accomplished. You understand me? So those are two good damn fights and one boxing.
Max Kellerman highlights Teofimo's footwork, praising how smoothly he moves around opponents, creates angles, controls distance, and slips past danger with intelligent movement and sharp ring awareness that often goes underappreciated.
I have to be honest with the way I see it. I don't think that was the best version of Teo by a long shot. But even then, he was rallying in that fight late. He has championship heart. And the thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, you know? The easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right. Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. And I think about Buddy McGirt, Meldrick Taylor.
Yes.
Roy, you know, where Meldrick had quick enough feet where if you were going to come right at Buddy McGirt, he could box you. But Meldrick could give him angles that were more difficult. I think of Roy.
For interview, Teofimo speaks with confidence and readiness, stressing that boxing is ultimately about mindset. He believes his mindset is fully prepared for this fight, forged through repetition, focus, discipline, and muscle memory developed over countless hours in the gym.
Are you mentally prepared with the audience? Are you mentally going to be prepared with the certain punch selection? There's things that I have to maintain as well. Those are things that I have to work on within myself. It's a muscle. I think of it like condiments, right? You got your ketchup, you got your mustard, you got all these type of condiments, but you don't know if you like it or not unless you try it. And I think the same thing applies when it comes to getting prepared for certain things like this. Pretty much you have to try different things, different steps, different routines, different ways to see what really fits and works for you. And if they all fit and work for you, when is the right time to apply them? and it's a muscle memory that you have to create now. If you don't create now, it can harm you the day of the fight. The mentality part of it is going to really be the key moment for who wins that night. I'm that type of person, truly, that type of person that focuses on being.
While Shakur Stevenson remains fully locked in at camp, showing up every day to give his best effort, sharpening his skills, refining his movement, and preparing both mentally and physically for the challenge ahead.
Right at that chest, it's coming, it's coming.
That was 9 rounds of sparring. I ain't gonna tell y'all the minutes, but yeah, I'm preparing to my fullest. I'm putting in a lot of work and getting ready. Sure. Training with Shakur is amazing. A guy like me been knowing Shakur for over 10 years now. The boxing world know that we brothers and we'll never fight each other. And just being around him in his camp, man, it's nothing but positive energy. And everybody wanting to be great. He's like my big brother, man. Like, he is my big brother, honestly. You know, he got all the wisdom in the world, especially when it comes to defense. So he's just making sure I stay sharp on my defense and not getting hit.
Chris Quaid, the host, emphasizes that this fight is exactly what boxing needs. He points out that both fighters could have taken safer routes, but choosing to face each other creates something special. High-stakes matchups like this open doors to bigger fights and greater opportunities. And when the best fight the best, the sport wins. Even the fighter who loses gains valuable exposure and experience.
What people don't realize about making best versus best fights. For the most part, only good can come from this. I'm going to knock on wood when I say that, because I don't want to have one of these fights where we get a stinker performance or anybody. But when the pressure is this high, when the stakes are this high, and you get this kind of opportunity, it will compound interest, even sometimes for the loser as well. This is why you look at MMA and you look at the UFC, and they have guys with 10 losses, 5 losses, 12. Some people that you would never think are going to compete for a championship, and maybe they don't even compete for a championship, but they're in interesting fights that people want to watch. Doing fights like this makes Teofimo Lopez, makes Shakur Stevenson a bigger name, and therefore, after this...
Wade compares it to MMA and the UFC, where athletes can take multiple losses and still build strong reputations while competing in exciting, meaningful contest. These types of matchups keep fans invested and anticipation high. By facing a top competitor, Teofimo Lopez elevates Shakur Stevenson's profile, and Shakur does the same for Teofimo. After a fight like this, both walk away with increased recognition and future high-profile opportunities, which is why fans tune in to see elite athletes competing at the highest level.
That type of stuff. Because what Teo's saying is true. Like, for him to go to the next level in his career, and for Shakur as well, they need to be tested, and they have been, especially Teo. Teo's taken some tough fights. He's beaten Vasily Lomachenko, beaten Josh Taylor, beaten Arnold Barboza. Like, these are tougher. Sandor Martin was a tough test as well. But my point is, this is how you get better. And this is why it frustrates me that guys won't take tough fights until they're 25-0 sometimes. And he's talking about Shakur's lateral movement, talking about how good he is as a boxer. This is, again, win or learn, in my opinion. Not that the stakes don't matter, not that wins and losses don't matter, but how are you ever going to really show your talent level if you aren't competing with the best? And Shakur has the same opportunity. This is Shakur's toughest test, no doubt about it. The Williams-Zepeda fight was a tough test because of the style of fight that Zepeda brings, but Zepeda is not the boxer.
Sean Porter confidently says that Shakur is going to be Shakur, highlighting both the consistency and unpredictability he brings. On fight night, it's never entirely clear which version of either fighter will emerge. But one thing remains certain: Shakur brings his own style, skill, and intensity every time he steps into the ring. Porter reflects on Shakur's last performance, noting how he adjusted to his opponent, studied him, and gradually took control. Despite criticism labeling him as a runner, Shakur chose to stay in the pocket more than usual, showing both courage and tactical awareness, even absorbing shots he didn't need to. Shakur demonstrated confidence and discipline, and Porter believes that willingness to take risks not only proves his talent, but continues to strengthen his connection with fans.
What I'm saying?
Nah, we gonna always, Shakur gonna always be Shakur. The offense that we saw from him in his last fight was just, he knew what he had in front of him,
and eventually he knew that he was going to be in a position where he could have his way with the kid who was in the ring. I'm losing his name off the top of my head.
Right, I know you're talking about. But I believe he fought that way because he started hearing all the call of him running. He started saying, you know what? Let me stay in the pocket, because he stood in the pocket a lot more than he normally stood in the pocket with that fight. You know what I'm saying?
It took some unnecessary shots.
Huh?
It took unnecessary shots.
Well, okay, right. Mm-hmm. But you see what kind of fan base he got after that too. The doubters started saying, you know what? I'm a roll.